First game of the day, RNG versus Fnatic. What do you got, Peke?
RNG.
RNG?
Fnatic.
RNG? Oh, yeah, okay. So let's get... Why RNG?
Because I don't fully believe in Fnatic yet to win this game.
Wow, our feet are synchronizing really well, Barnes.
Beautiful. Enough talk about feet, I guess. Welcome to episode 2 of the pOGcast. Great name, Andre, right? Because there's OG in it.
Really
Let's get it out of the way straight away. This is the Origen podcast where we will mainly be talking about Worlds because that's what's relevant right now. But obviously in the future we'll be talking about everything related to Origen and League of Legends and Portugal, maybe Wales and Spain. Who knows? Today, instead of Alfonso, we do have Barney Morris, and you have to say Barney Morris because it's the greatest name, also known as Alfari, of course. I still have xPeke next to me, and I have Andre over there, 2-time coach of the split. 3 days into, hey, it's a good title. 3 days into Worlds group stage. First impressions, Andre.
To be fair, there are a couple of teams that I was expecting a bit more. I think it was a topic that we brought out last time, that we were expecting a bit more creativity from Fnatic, which is something that I feel like it's lacking a bit, not only due to the Garen Yumi, but I also felt that the early games are not being as explosive or as planned as they were before. Might as well be the other teams are just more ready to that phase of Fnatic. And then just a lot of ups and downs from teams like RNG, from teams like IG, that people were expecting maybe more from them than what they are showing, even though the results are not being exactly bad. But I think it just has been a Worlds like most Worlds so far, where nothing is certain. Teams that you think would be performing poorly are performing better than expected. Teams that you would expect to completely dominate are not as dominant as expected. That happens on every Worlds with a couple of teams, but it just kind of confirms that at least during these 3 days that G2 has a really good shot at winning the whole tournament.
Right.
They seem to be the only team that is consistently performing.
Andre just covered all the Worlds, which means we're done.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was
Short
a nice
episode.
cover.
Thank you for coming, everyone. You did a great job, Barney especially.
TLDR. Did we make it to 30 minutes?
I think we have to probably put some end card with some sponsors on for like 29 minutes maybe. But otherwise, I think we will get there roughly. No, I think that's a lot of good stuff there. I wonder, Barney, do you think the reason we always get a lot of upsets and so on at Worlds, is that the nature of best of one? Or is it just because there are a lot more good teams around the world than we expect?
I think it's both. I think teams can be underperforming relative to fans' expectations. But it's also just like part of the nature of best of ones, where it's a lot easier to surprise teams. And generally, with best of fives, the better team does win. Whereas in best of ones, that's not always the case. Like in the Griffin game, there was level 1, where they got triple to level 1. And usually they just, loses the game instantly. So in a best of 5, you can actually come back from that. I mean, they still did come back, but of course it's hard when a best of 1 still.
Yeah. Is it a good thing then with best of ones and the upset potential? Or are you more in the give me best of 5s all the way and I only want to see the best team win every time, Peke?
I think I kind of like it, and it's not like it's that bad, the upset, because they still have to play a lot more games. They only play 2 games every team, I think, right? Yeah, so it's not like even if you lose 1 game, you are completely out. It's like he said that Fnatic disappointed with Fnatic, not disappointed, but that Fnatic didn't play as he expected, but they have only played 2 games and they are 1-1, so it's not like they can still come back.
His high hopes.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that's what I mean by like, even though the results are not being bad, I expected more for teams like the ones that I mentioned, and Damwon and all of those, and Fnatic would be one of them. Even though like the results of all these teams are not exactly being bad results at all.
Yeah, well, but we don't also know what happened during the whole month. That's also a thing for Worlds to keep in mind. Like last week, for example, we think some teams are gonna be good because they were doing good in their region. But during the last month, we don't know what happened in scrims. Maybe they came to Europe and they lost every game. Maybe they had problems. And I think that sometimes happens that a team is coming to Worlds and people think they're gonna do really good and then they don't. Like it happened with who was it? This player that happened to him sometimes. Dade, wasn't it?
Dade has definitely done it. There was also Godv from LGD.
Yeah, Godv. Yeah.
Who got the
got what was
or
his name?
Silver V, whatever they called him,
Silver.
Bronze V.
Bronze V.
Yeah, or Gold V. That was not good from LGD back then. I guess it's also important to highlight that this is the first year, at least from what I remember, where not every major region team boot camped in Korea. We actually had teams split up quite a bit. We had the European teams stayed here. I believe the North American teams came over. Korean and Chinese teams stayed home. I don't know if they scrimmed each other, if they just scrimmed
and
within the
wildcard
region.
teams obviously came over because of planes.
And then obviously from planes, we had a lot of teams coming over for that phase. So we probably had less time of like multiple regions scrimming each other and kind of finding one meta, one style, and more like individual things being pulled out. But I think I don't think there's been any huge surprises to me, at least yet, in terms of like mega upsets. To me, a huge upset is like, G2 not winning a game in like 30 minutes. What an upset that would be if they could actually go above 30 minutes against any of the teams in their group. You guys don't agree? I try to be like a G2 fanboy here, but that failed a little bit.
I don't know, like
not with Griffin, but
saying that it would be an upset if G2 doesn't win pre-30 minutes against Griffin. It seems a bit...
it was a bit of a joke, but at the same time it works now because it actually happened.
I don't know, like even yesterday against Cloud9, the game was not as easy as it seems, right? Their top side was kind of hinting a bit.
Yes.
Still really fast.
Still ended really fast. So
exactly, but it kind of looked like they were inting on purpose, like they didn't.
No, they don't int on purpose.
You don't think so? When Wunder died, you don't think he was a bit like a?
Yeah, I think he just wanted to give a sort of.
Yeah,
not on purpose, but didn't he?
No,
I mean he died like a bit stupidly, like he didn't.
If they can play a bit more relaxed, maybe if they probably disrespect a bit.
I think it's just the matchup.
Maybe.
So I was asked yesterday. Why can G2 give away these kills, like on one side of the map? It looks terrible for a moment. You're like, what's happening here? This guy's dying, and then they can still finish the game in 24 or 25 minutes against C9, one of the best teams in North America. Bonnie, you played against G2 quite a lot this year, both in scrims, on stage. You sadly had to lose very quickly against them as well. Like, what is it they do so well, seeing as they can, despite giving up some early kills, then just like snowball the game out of control completely?
Well, the game yesterday versus C9, the top side was inting, yeah. But like C9's bot lane was just inting harder.
Okay.
So basically they had the Fed Syrakan, I think it was, on G2, versus an absolutely useless Cassiopeia. And even though Vladimir was like dying a few times, not needed during lane phase, he had Kleptomancy, so he was like still kind of even in gold, even though he should have been like ahead. And then C9's bot lane was just not good enough.
But just ignoring that game then, just in general, like why are G2 so good? Like what is it they do so well?
Well, they just have really good players. It's like really, I think that's simple.
They
just play early game good, yeah. It's not like, it's not like usually they int either. Like maybe like they have like an off game every now and then, like one day yesterday, or like Caps every now and then. Maybe I don't know, like Mickey or Jankos even on occasion. But generally they are all just really strong players that can be better than like whatever opponent they play against, and then they just win early game because of that.
Do you guys agree?
Yeah. And somehow even if they die or if they have a bad game, it somehow feels like they don't fall behind that much. Like maybe like Vladimir died a few times, but still he was farm up, he was still good in gold, and when the team fight came, he was still as useful as if he didn't die. It's not like he falls behind from that, and that's what happened to most of their members. When one of them has a bad game, doesn't mean that he's actually behind in gold. He maybe died, but he's still well farmed, he's still rotating, he's still doing what he has to do.
If we see the kills on top and the kills on bot during that game, Vladimir died once, solo kill, with the wave pushed into Aatrox tower.
I think it was twice.
Yeah, twice, but the wave was similar. Then he died on a counter gank where the wave was at the middle. So he was never losing farm, and the only time, the time that they dove Vladimir, basically Caps just got fed, because he cleaned up the house. And on bot, they were always dying under their towers, so they were kept losing farm, they were kept losing XP, and they were kept losing plates. So the snowball ends up being quite different. I also think that I obviously agree that G2 is able to do this because all of their players are extremely talented, but it's also due to situations like this where not only they are really good at pulling the trigger and they will keep themselves, if they are on even kills, usually what they get from those kills is always way more than what they lose from the kills that they give, even when it seems that one of their members is inting.
So as a coach, how do you prepare for G2 if the main strength is to just have 5 really, really good players? Like, how do you prepare for that?
I mean, I think Fnatic took quite a good approach where they just tried to match. I don't even think that the Cloud9 approach was bad, where they seemed to come with a lot of aggressiveness. I obviously think that Cloud9 players are less individually talented than Fnatic, and that shows. But if we look at the series of Fnatic, they kept matching with brawls, and they kept having this really pulling the trigger attitude that G2 has as well. But they were just doing it on way better moments. I honestly think that if it was a situation where Aatrox was killing Vladimir under Vladimir tower, or if they were diving Vladimir without Zoe being able to rotate and getting all those skills, and if their bot lane was able to respect more the plays being made on the other side, Cloud9 had a really decent shot. But that was just the approach that Fnatic had. If you want to beat G2, you have to be able to match them individually, and you have to be able to match them in aggressiveness.
I don't think that's specific to matching G2 though.
Yeah.
I think that's just the meta.
Exactly.
You just have to be good. And G2 are good, and if you're not good, then you will lose.
Yeah,
so
Get good.
Mario, I was trying to give some context and all, but yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
like
if you're worse, you'll lose, and if you're better, you have a chance to win.
You have to fight the early game.
Yeah,
basically that. And if you can't lane against them, then
so early game and individual skill. Is that just the entire meta basically summarized and like the 2 most important things?
Pretty much.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah. Good. I guess Rad succeeded then when they were like, we need more early game action. Put some tower plates in there, lower the death timers. We want people to fight. We want faster games, and then they get a meta where effectively individual skill and early game are the 2 most important things.
Then they put scholars to level 3s, not level 2s, and then they nerf all tank junglers to the ground, so everyone's fighting in the river level 3.
Perfect. It actually works, and it's great for G2. Fnatic, Andre, you showed you said you were a little bit disappointed with some of the things they showed, but I think Fnatic, they are in obviously a very hard group.
Yeah.
RNG is in there, SKT is in there as well. SKT are 2-0 already. Overall, after 2 games, despite your quick points there, are we generally happy with what Fnatic showed? And I guess actually the game today is going to be the big one against RNG.
Yeah, I think the game today is going to decide how it's going to go, I think, pretty much. Because if they lose, I think they're going to have a very hard time coming back from that. But against SKT, I think their game, what happened in that game? Because the Garen Yumi ended up kind of working out. Like, they ended up having a chance of winning that game, or...
They were always a bit behind.
Yeah, they were always behind. Oh, yeah, but the SKT had the Kayle Tristana that was mega fed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vega was, like, super fed.
Yeah, I just feel like they had no chance against that comp pretty much because the SK team wants to scale, and with Garen Yumi, it's not like you're going to do anything in the early game at all. So it was pretty much a tickling bomb that I think they realized in the mid game, like, they are playing safe or trying to not fall too behind, and then they realize, wait, if we went for late game, we're going to lose. And then they tried to force some fights that obviously they couldn't win anyways because the Tristana was already mega fed.
Are you a Garen Yumi fan for Fnatic, Barney? You played against it quite a few times.
Well, I think it probably has counters. Like, I think what SKT did when they played Kayle both lane versus, I thought that was quite smart. It's like an alternative to Vayne, which a lot of teams have already tried. But this one does the same thing where it just scales to a lane and gets Klepto. But I think it actually scales better than Vayne. And also offers magic damage, which gives more flexibility in the rest of the draft. As well as it being a 3-way flex. So I thought that answer was pretty interesting. So it basically meant that Fnatic had to like win really fast, but then they couldn't make any ganks happen. They're like really passive lanes all around, I think. So yeah, then SKT's draft was just so much better, I think, that they just after like 10 minutes they just auto win. But yeah, I think maybe Teddy was not the best on Kayle. But yeah, I think it was still a good idea.
Can Garen be played top right now?
I mean, yeah, I guess it can be.
No, but could it be a legit pick at Worlds? Could we see the flex?
You can lock it in.
It's not going to be played at Worlds, but it can be played.
Yeah, of course you can lock it in.
It's not
I'm aware of that.
But you need Ignite to play Garen top, and I don't think it works in the meta without the TP.
Are you jelly then that 80 carries get to play Garen and you don't?
No, I think it's a really boring champion.
Oh, okay.
No, but he's super fun.
You have to go full jelly if 80 carries could play Vayne and he couldn't.
No, but the only thing you do in this champ doing then is just try to like refresh your passive so you can keep taking more damage.
That sounds fun. You run away from damage until it procs. Yeah, that sounds great. And then it was at level 11. It's just on all the time. Like
no, he heals you way faster. It becomes like a Warmox. It's like a Warmox.
Listen to it, Garen.
No, I tell
Garen
you, it's really good. I have a.
They wanted to play Garen on the Clash, but there was never.
You remember at All Star a couple of years ago?
Yeah,
he played Garen, and I think you killed Faker with it or something.
Yeah, Faker and the jungler.
And the crowd in Barcelona, like I've never seen anything like it. It was like they won, the Worlds basically right there, even though it was just All Star.
Yeah, but SKT had a sick team. They had like a Smev, Faker, Bang.
SKT has
SKT or Korea?
No, because he was like an all-star team.
All-star Korea.
I said SKT.
Korea.
No, but he was a mix of XKT and Drox.
Yes.
That was the all-star team.
Yeah.
So it was honestly a sick team.
It was Peanut, no? Peanut, Faker.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then the bowling was Rox bowling, I think. Prey and Gorilla as well.
Alright, let's wrap up EU with just the last team, which actually to me pretty interesting right now to talk about, Splyce. So far, from predictions we had, last episode, Splyce, will they make it out? You had them as third. You had them third. It was only Alfonso who was like maybe second, but he kind of pulled back a little bit on it as well. 1-1 so far. Actually managed to beat Gam, which was I guess somewhat expected.
On this group? Is
everyone is 1-1.
Everyone's 1-1, right?
But they looked very good in the game they played yesterday against Fun Plus Phoenix. It actually made me think that Splyce are the second best team in this group. You don't think they look very good in the game?
I think that they looked okay. The fact that they show that Kobe can play mages is
which
obviously,
we knew.
Yeah, it's obviously a good sign. But at the same time, yes, they looked good against FPX, but FPX looked really bad against their game against J team.
True.
And Splyce also didn't look that good against Gam, so
you're just not very happy with the group, I guess.
Yeah, I think that the group is just
the group of life.
There's the group of death, and this is the group of life where everyone can win against everyone. All the games can be a fiesta really fast, and I don't know. It's an interesting group, It's obviously a group where Splyce seems to have a shot of going through. Yes.
I think they will. I'm like almost. I'm not 100%, but I'm like 95% sure they will get out.
I still think that they won't.
You're still saying the third. Who's gonna get second then?
No, I changed. I think they're gonna get second.
I think
they get second.
I still think that they will not make it.
So they play J Team today.
Yeah, which I think JT will actually.
You put J Team to win that one?
I predicted J Team, but
so why?
It's not that I believe Splyce will lose. It's just that I need to take some risks because yesterday was really bad. So I'm already with the mindset of taking some risks, and that's the group of life as we just agreed here. At least I did.
If you're unaware, we started yesterday on the Origen social media channel to do a prediction game. We only had room for 5 people, and obviously Andre had to be on it because we need someone to laugh at. Pek and I were on it. We have actually Afari, and we have Alfonso as well on it. And yesterday, obviously Andre managed to, kind of as expected, start off with only getting 3 out of 5 correct.
No.
Yes.
3 out of 6.
3 out of 6. Wrong. Sorry, even worse.
But
you did only get 3 correct. That is a fact.
Get something clear. I knew HQ would win the game.
Okay.
But they didn't.
But they decided to lose. Yeah. They actually, if we hear at the moment AHQ comms, we just hear someone says, guys, should we just go Nash and we end the game on the next push? And someone's saying, no, we can just int and lose the game.
Okay.
No, actually someone said before, no, let's just take inhib and base. But then someone said, why don't we just int and lose the whole game? And we just like lose this random Guardian Angel, and then all the team of Team Liquid just respawn. So why don't we just go Nash?
And we do it to pull Andre down so that he's wrong in his predictions.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
I'm sure that happened in the comms.
AHQ just inted me. And do you actually think that it's a coincidence then on the other 2 games that I lost, there was a Lucian mid? I don't think so.
So basically Lucian mid is the
so
reason.
Lucian mid is also pulling me back down.
What's wrong with Lucian mid?
I don't know, but if they don't pick Lucian mid, I win. And you can't prove I'm wrong.
Does anyone have an opinion about Lucian mid here?
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's bad.
Sounds...
I think Lucian's a strong champ.
I think it's bad.
So if you follow...
Andre's little scheme is far too elaborate, and that is actually just bad about predicting.
See, I think that's the most likely one.
And I think Lucian mid is maybe not great, but I think it's fine at least.
And if I've learned something, community will always side with the professional player when it comes to opinion on like champions and so on.
They'll side with the person who knows stuff.
By having the professional player here, despite not obviously playing mid lane, saying it's good, I think it's good too.
I mean, I don't know if it's good.
No, it's good. It's
okay.
good.
Yeah, actually, Andre, your vlog is really good. But
yeah, it's really good.
I honestly think it's just not good.
It's not good. So that's why you got 3 wrong.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Okay.
The HQ, I actually think that they did it on purpose.
Okay.
The other 2, it was just like it was all like close games.
So just so everyone is up to date on the prediction game that started yesterday, where Andre already on day 2, even though we have like 20 more days.
I already want to gamble.
He's already ready to do dumb predictions.
Barney knows that even in drafts I just gamble.
So you're saying who wins? Splyce today?
He says J-Team will win.
J-Team will win.
J-Team will win.
Because that was the game that I thought it can be close to a 50-50.
Why?
Because it's a 50-50. Every game in that group seems like a 50-50.
But you had, like he said, you had like 20 games.
Yeah, but that game seems like a 50-50 where I know that all of you...
So you want to win by playing lottery?
No. I know that all of you will bet Splyce, and it seems like a 50-50.
Okay. So there's no actual reason
so it's one of those games that...
Splyce
no, his reason is that he thought Splyce was going to win.
Yeah.
And he thinks we all think that.
Yeah.
So he's
so
going to...
I'm going to go on the opposite. Because I think it's
Let's go to
close
his
to
predictions. Peke, why do you think Splyce will win, seeing as you predicted Splyce, I assume?
I mean, I think they played much better than I expected. Like you said, even against the Phoenix, they were doing good until they did bad. But they were actually doing a really good early game, which I didn't expect them to do that against that team. And then against... Gamma, how do you say it? Gam, yeah. Gam. I always confuse them with a Gigabyte Marine.
Oh, yeah, Gigabyte. They used to be called Gigabyte Marine.
They're all the same, basically.
So you're actually right.
Yeah, okay, so Gam. And yeah, they played really good against them as well. So I don't know, in the end I think the practice went well for them. They came prepared against, in this group at least, the group of life. And I think JT is probably the weakest one in this group. So I don't know. I don't think J-Team will win. Even though I don't know much besides the 2 games I have seen from J-Team. Maybe there's surprise.
I mean, I think
don't know. They're 1-1.
I think we all believe in Splyce. Barney as well. You got Splyce.
Yeah.
So basically, just Andre.
Yeah, it just means that I'm just gambling a bit. I have to.
There's been a lot of talk about like GP top for Visichachi in the Splyce games, where he's done, at least had a lot of impact. People can argue whether or not he should be winning his lanes, depending on who you ask. Visichachi, GP top, Barney, is he the best in Europe?
He's not the best in Europe, no, but I think it's his best champion. I think it suits Splyce's like very specific style well.
Can you explain?
Well, I think Splyce always draft the team fight, and generally how they team fight is by always kiting back as well. They don't really dive. They always play the scale and wave clear and then let you run into them instead. So they're good at controlling vision and fighting front to back and just stalling. That's basically what they do every game. They play like long range champions, and when they get their spikes, they don't want to like run into you. They just play for vision, Baron setup, and then they fight you when you come into them. And Gangplank is pretty good at that. And it's also, I think, his best champion in regards to laning. In GP is also like a very strong champion right now, I think, as well. So, it's a pretty good fit for Splyce.
Do you think people should ban it away? Like, is there anything else you can pick top that kind of fits the same?
There's nothing else that is as good for Splyce, I would say. And I think it's like a pretty decent ban to consider, unless you have like some picks prepared for it.
Give me 1 and 2.
I mean, Vladimir is pretty good. You've seen Naguri and Wonder played it yesterday. Sometimes they're playing into like more crashable matchups, like versus Aatrox. I think it can still work, but it's obviously a lot harder than versus Gangplank. So you could try something like this, and then you just have to like be good enough to just close out versus Splyce, I suppose. Because even if they have Gangplank and you have like winning lanes, they're still gonna have like the just turtle mindset, and they'll just play to wave clear, and then if the game was like 30-40 minutes, they can still win because they have like scaling champs like Gragas, Gangplank, Ranged Mid, and Kobe. So yeah, I think it's a fine ban to consider banning Gangplank. I think it's his best champion. There's other chance, maybe not as good. And yeah, shoots him really well.
Good, perfect. I think that's going to be an interesting one to follow. Do you have anything you want to add on Splyce?
No.
We're done.
I'm fine with that.
So basically, EU so far doing pretty well, but still room for more. Andre not on the Splyce hype train just yet. Rest of us are.
I mean, just yet. I need to gamble.
Yeah.
Maybe when Splyce plays against FPX again, and you all bet FPX, I bet Splyce.
Okay. We can lock that in already then, if you want. If you want.
Yeah, I agree.
Not yet.
So we just talked about top lane, obviously, and we have you here, Barney, to cover kind of more of that. There's been a big discussion regarding Kleptomancy in the top lane. Naguri, as an example, is like picking it almost every game, and then the Shy is like saying it's not that good, and you shouldn't pick it here. Like he wants to do something different. What's your opinion right now on kind of the keystone state in top lane and Klepto specifically?
I mean, to be honest, I've always thought Klepto was OP since it came out. Or like since it was like 2-hit Klepto, I thought it was really stupid. I think that's why also that ranged champions have generally been a lot stronger this year than in previous years for top lane, because you can just punish melee top laners like a lot more. So I think generally, if you go Klepto, it's always going to be okay. At least if you're playing versus a melee champion. Like the tree itself, inspiration is really strong. You get free boots, and then you get cookies, and you get like something else as well. The tree is always going to be fine. So if you're playing ranged versus melee, I think it's always at least okay. When you play ranged versus ranged, I'd say there are a lot more options, because you're not going to have the luxury to just proc it, all the time whenever you want. So that's when I think there are like a lot more viable or better options generally. And then melee versus melee, I think it depends a lot on champions. So you can see like Camille's taking it sometimes, but for example, you wouldn't want to go on Renekton because I don't know, like you can't really. I mean, I guess you can proc Kleptomancy with your W.
It's like you can log in Garen, but you don't.
Yeah, you can. You can, I guess, theoretically play Klepto Renekton, but that sounds so terrible that I think you just want to go Conqueror or press your attack. I'm sure there are other champions like that are melee for top lane, but Renekton's just one that comes off. Oh yeah, Gangplank as well. Grasp is really OP. So there are like certain champs that you really don't want to go Klepto on, and then there are like a lot of other champs that you can go Klepto on, and it's always going to be fine, basically.
But then because there's a lot like with Vladimir, people go Klepto and then they don't have face rush as an example.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel that is a big thing to lose when it comes to late game team fights, or is it actually perfectly fine to play without?
I mean, of course you lose like extra power late game by going Klepto over face rush, but it makes you like much stronger during lane phase. Like I said, the tree in itself is really strong. You get like extra potions, and you get like faster early spikes. And it's not like, I think with Vladimir you exactly need to be like this, you need to have like phase rush on top of your 6 items. If you have 6 items on Vladimir, you're already going to win the game. As long as you're like equal or ahead on Vladimir, you're already happy. Should be like kind of the mindset, I think. And because having like the additional power during lane phase and the extra scaling just makes a lot of sense all the time.
Cool. It's a wrap then on the Klepto part. Bonnie has approved that it is perfectly fine to pick, as long as you're at least range versus melee in most of the cases, and it is very, very strong. Also for lane. Some people think you only take it.
That's why you take it.
Yeah, some people think it's actually the opposite.
No.
Like, oh, it's a bad lane, I just want some gold, and then it's fine.
No.
You know?
Like, if you think about it, like Press, Attack, Conqueror, all these things scale better because you actually do something. The only thing Klepto does is make your lane stronger. It gives you more items, and it gives you potions, and it gives you a stronger tree. Klepto is a laning mastery.
And it's a wrap on the Klepto now, because we want to talk about predictions instead. Pege, I want to look at the games today. This obviously is recorded like it's 12 o'clock right now here in Copenhagen. The game started at 3 o'clock.
We were supposed to record this.
We got to get this one. We were supposed to start
late.
at 12, and we started at 12. Right, Andre?
No. We were ready at 12, but you were fixing your hair.
12:10.
Which didn't work out very well for me. I want to just quickly look at the games because Andre is late all the time, and we don't want to discuss it here. It's kind of awkward.
Jesus Christ.
Tonight, or today, we have some insane games, by the way. And we're all doing predictions. They're all going to come up on Twitter, Origen's Twitter. But I also just want to quickly go through them here. First game of the day, RNG versus Fnatic. What do you got, Pick?
RNG.
RNG?
Fnatic.
RNG.
Oh, yeah, okay. So let's get... Why RNG?
Because I don't fully believe in Fnatic yet to win this game. I think RNG, they can beat them. I wouldn't say it's 100% sure. But I feel like Fnatic is going to come a bit tilted from the last games.
Okay. So RNG upper hand there. Andre?
I think that Fnatic strength has honestly been team fights so far. And which is different from the strengths previously, where I would say that Hylissang being able to roam around the map was what made Fnatic so strong. That's why I was not impressed when they were perma picking Yuumi, because we cannot see really Hylissang at his full potential. And I honestly think that Uzi is having a really good tournament, and Uzi, as you call it. I call it
Uzi is fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
He's having a really good tournament, which I think will nullify the team fight advantage in theory for Fnatic. For that reason, that's why I think that RNG will take this one.
If I have to challenge you right now, Pekka, you have to give me one way Fnatic can win this. Pull out some of the old magic tricks from your days.
Boik.
I don't know. I mean, play a good bot lane, like a normal AD carry and a roaming support, I would say. Like, I think it's really important, like he said, when Hylissang roams around. Like, he's always been really good. When he has these games that he's everywhere, is when they actually look more scary.
Actually, it's not that I would like Hylissang to roam. I just like Hylissang to be on something that can take initiative. Like, it's one of the two. How Fnatic wins this game is either Hylissang is on a roamer and he's influencing mid, or Nemesis is on a roaming champion, the TF, Corki, some of his Klepto things. And they just play for their normal level 6, prio mid, go dive bot, and they just nullify Uzi.
Barney, Fnatic winning?
Yeah.
Why?
I think Nemesis...
You're already laughing over there.
I think Nemesis and Hylissang are in pretty good form right now. I think that generally...
Izumi was really impressive. We could see a lot of Hylissang's form playing.
He did some sick
He
moves.
blocked some good skill shots.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to play Yuumi this game.
It's fine.
Anyway, I think Nemesis has been playing good. I think Hylissang's still really good. And I think that China also have like this weird prior on Mordecai as a top lane. So
Actually,
I think they might just pick like a useless top laner, and then Fnatic, what I expect, is going to pick like a global top laner like Shen or Gangplank.
Or Rengar.
No, they'll pick like I think they'll go like Shen or Gangplank. At least I hope they do.
Or Vayne.
They'll go Shen or Gangplank, and then I think Broxah will just play something early game like Elise or Lee Sin, and they'll just
See, I love that.
they'll just stop Uzi from winning basically.
You and I having a conversation. You have this little devil Andre on your shoulder, just saying dumb stuff like, maybe.
Yeah,
Vayne.
I guess RNG has no bans. Like, they have global top, they have global mid, they have Lissin on Brox or Brox on Lissin. Like, RNG has no
okay.
bans.
So they're just gonna ban all their champs, right?
we will know who wins already in a couple of hours from this
fine.
gets released, and we can go back and we can look who was right, who was wrong.
I'm going to be right though.
Just moving on quickly.
It's really obvious.
SKT versus Clutch. SKT,
Wait,
SKT.
who did you?
I put Fnatic.
Why Fnatic? Because Barney put Fnatic. Because Barney accused you of copying his.
No, I'm pretty sure I logged in mine before Barney's did.
No, you
I just didn't
didn't.
submit them on WhatsApp.
Yeah, okay. Let me just
That's
check
all.
WhatsApp.
I'm not just copying
Okay,
Barney.
just as a proof number one.
I think Brox and Hill saying will actually shut down early game.
Martin said to me when I entered the office that he thought RNG would win against Fnatic.
I didn't say that.
He said it to me and you said it to Jack. We can call Jack to prove.
No, because I was talking to Jack about that.
After that, at 9:54, Alfari puts his predictions. Deficio was at the office when I arrived at 9:30. But he only placed his predictions at 9:56. 2 minutes after Alfari.
Did you just
I
copy paste that?
No, I was working on other stuff. Jack can
That's very
confirm.
lazy.
No.
Listen.
No. He was working out some stuff until 2 minutes after you placed your predictions, Barney.
Jack can confirm that he came down. He told me RNG would win, and I was like, "No, dude. I think Fnatic got it." He was like, "You really want to go with that?" I'm like, "Yes." And then I put in Fnatic.
I don't believe
this
it.
was like 9:20 something. You know, this was definitely not.
What I
when
saw
Barney
is that
locked
you
in.
locked your predictions only 2 minutes after Barney, even though you had a chance to lock it way before.
Do we have the exact same?
Yeah.
Again,
all of
I
it.
mean, don't say that like you don't know it, Barney. Like, come on.
Again.
You literally copy
Hey,
pasted.
can we move on here to
Yeah,
SKT
sure.
Clutch?
Yeah, let's go.
SKT,
SKT,
yes,
everyone's
very
SKT.
exciting. FPX versus Scam. FPX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though they have not looked very good and they could easily lose this game, just saying.
Yeah, it's
just
still
putting it
50-50,
out there.
just like the
Very
Splyce one.
Splyce, J-Team, we already discussed quite a bit. So we have Splyce, and J-Team over there. Now, last two are obviously Cloud9 versus Griffin. Anyone put Cloud9?
No.
Did I put Cloud9? I almost did.
I almost did
Yeah,
as well.
I think that bot lane is too bad.
Cloud9's bot lane will be an issue.
Yeah.
Every game with Wolves, that bot lane will be an issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any way for them to win against Griffin? Like, what are you looking at? Through top lane?
Maybe Niski bot and Blabber mid.
Either.
I mean, they played it in Rift Rivals.
Let's go.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. I don't know how they can win.
Against Griffin?
You don't see a way they can win this game.
I mean, like Griffin just have to int it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Andre,
but-
you're the coach of C9 right now. You have to beat Griffin. Today, what do you do?
You choose the bot lane somehow.
Yeah,
You play like high-midding a bot, and you hope you jungle
I
carries.
just go G2 last year style.
Yeah, but
Just hope Licorice carries because Niski also doesn't seem to be able to carry.
I think you would hope jungle carries.
Yeah, with Blabber or Svenskeren?
Well, I don't know, just
Because
like
I think
try
Blabber is better
playing, like,
individually, but Svenskeren has been having
Is he
better
really better than
results.
Svenskeren individually?
I mean,
I don't think he-
mechanically, I'm pretty sure he is.
Svenskeren
Yeah.
is the MVP in NA as well.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying he's better than Blabber, so.
he's a better player for the team than Blabber. But if I have to have a jungler that 1v9s a game, then I'm probably betting more on Blabber than on Svenskeren.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I would go Svenskeren, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go with Svenskeren because
Again, you and me have a good conversation. That
because
on your
no.
shoulder is like,
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and
No, it's
try
good.
to convince
It
me
makes
again that
sense.
Svenskeren is better mechanically than Blabber.
So anyways, they can win.
They can't win. Yeah.
they can't win. Okay.
I don't think they can.
Even though Griffin has not looked very good, like at all.
I mean, yeah, but they
Yeah.
have a bot lane.
I mean, do they?
And ultimately, what do you mean?
Yesterday it didn't seem like it.
Yeah, I think Griffin is very questionable right now.
Let's see. Yeah. I mean, if the ball lane of Cloud9 plays like they have been doing, then probably they will still lose.
Nah,
Okay.
actually they have no chance.
Okay.
They
so
actually have no
everyone
chance.
is on Griffin there.
They have no chance.
Hong Kong Attitude versus G2. I don't think there is a whole lot of discussion on that one.
No.
Hong Kong
It's-
attitude, everyone.
Yeah, no, I think
I
it's
mean,
really
maybe
free for
G2 play like Shiva on the top and decide to have fun.
AP Shivana, and then they will probably win.
And
Didn't
I
they
think
win
they
with
will
that?
still win.
Oh, they lost with that. That's true. They lost. when
Yeah, they lost to
played it.
TL.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
I think that if they play Shiva on the top, they would still win. If
I
they
mean,
play
judging by yesterday's game, I suppose they can play anything. But
if they play Shivana bot and Yasuo perks top, then they will still win. To be honest,
So seeing as this is the Origen podcast and we talk about G2 being super good and whatever, the last thing I just want to do before we end it here is, because we're Origen, we have beaten G2 once.
Proud moment.
How did we beat them? What did we do in that game that made us succeed? Maybe Hong Kong Attitude can do the same. Andre, what was the strat? Do you remember?
We just had an outplay potential on mid 2v2, and then we just went aggressive and we won that mid 2v2, and then we snowballed the game.
I think the lanes just got solo killed bot and mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But Million was not the 2v2, it was 1v1, no?
Yeah,
he did kill him 1v1, but he forced the flash early.
Because like the potential of
Jungle
the outplay is that like we had the Cartus, so that in case that he survives a little bit.
Oh yeah, honestly we also had Cartus, which was really strong.
So what did you do in that game, Barney? I don't remember.
I was playing cannon. I was
you were just sitting
absolutely like
he was stuck in the Klepto.
Yeah. So basically, outplay potential mid, and you have to obviously then be able to win it.
Yeah.
And play aggressive early. That's how Hong Kong Attitude can beat G2.
It's just if you want to beat G2 or if you want to beat any other team, you have to win your lanes. Yesterday, G2 lost top lane and lost jungle and won mid and hard won bot, so they win the game. And if you go against G2 and you go even on 2 lanes and then you win another lane, you probably have a chance to win against G2 and against any other team.
Perfect.
It's no different.
So play good.
There we go. That's an ending right there. The games are starting very, very soon. We're going to be watching our predictions.
Make sense, Barney?
Yeah, no, it's really obvious. So I agree.
I'm clearly racing my boys trying to do an outro. And then you felt the need to jump in. You can do the outro there.
No, I don't want to do the outro. I just want to mess with you because you arrived late.
So I was on time. Andre, for some reason, came super late. This podcast is over.
You were late because of your hair, plus your predictions were 2 minutes after Barney. Barney accused you of copying your predictions today. And
first time I agree with
you.
It's the first time I agree with Andrew, yeah. About the copying part at least.
Alright. Next episode in a couple of days, we'll be talking more about Worlds. Predictions come out on Twitter, Instagram, I think as well. Make sure to laugh at Andre when he's wrong again, especially with the Splyce versus J team prediction.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Barney, for being a great guest, providing insanely good insight to top lane. Thank you, Peke, for being a great guest and providing insanely good insight.
Here it comes.
Thanks.
And thank you, Andre, for being here. Goodbye.